And what is up, guys? Technical Stinkers here, back checking in on the 3D print operation for today. If you're unfamiliar or new to the channel, I own a business, but I've got a big warehouse with a lot of space and a lot of free time. So I'm doing this 3D print thing, just kind of exploring the various facets of it, seeing if I can scale it up and make a business out of it. That way I can take it to my warehouse and take it to the next level. This is just exhibition. I'm not an expert. I'm not going to instruct anyone on anything ever because I'm a total dum-dum. Appreciate all your comments, feedback, and suggestions on how to operate these things. So join me on my wonderful adventure to figure out if I can become a billionaire with 3D printers. So what am I working on today? Well, got a whole set up here because we finished the Glock. We're going to put some paint on it. I'm doing some more lids for those rolling trays. If you've been following the channel, my other business, I'm doing some like rolling trays. They're like for herb smoking, you know, wink, wink. So doing some lids for those. I'm gonna give like 50, or I'm gonna push 50 there to give away as promo type items. But I have so many people adding the giant Glock to the cart on Etsy. I have not sold one. I did put it on sale for like 20% off. It's still expensive, but so many people favoriting it and adding it. I can't help but think that eventually there's like interest there. Although I haven't sold it, there's definitely interest. And so same thing with the 1911 model, the big gun model. So I was like, okay, what's the next most iconic firearm? Because like something like a rifle or something like that, in order for me to print that novelty sized large, it would have to be really, really large. So, you know, that just about, you know, if a rifle's like, say you're like this much, for me to make that like oversized and big, it would be like the size of a wall. So I'm thinking pistols, handguns, that kind of thing. So my next project for my next trick is a revolver, specifically a Colt Python. So it's like a big, giant, dirty, hairy type revolver, Old West style, if you're familiar with what revolvers are. So working on that. This is just a prototype really to test out like supports before I scale it up. I went through and had to chop up this model in a million different ways because, you know, I want to have the barrel able to kind of rotate and do some different colorings with the grips. So that's what's on the Cobras. Here on the Soval, because if you saw yesterday's video, the PTFE tube on my first AMS unit back there blew out. And while I was in there, I was like, oh yeah, I got all these desiccant things in here and I've never swapped them out. So I went ahead and swapped it out there. As soon as this print is done, I'm gonna go through and refresh all the desiccant in there, but I need some more of these. I went ahead and bought some hygrometers. And so on the Soval, I just went ahead and did a print on here. No supports, really hot. And it came out pretty good. I mean, this just finished. Stringy, obviously, but with all these grooves and stuff, I'd kind of expected it to. There's some like overhang issues there. Could have probably stood to run some supports on there, but I wanted to try it out without supports. This is just the standard model. Came out basically flawless. And I don't have these desiccant bins in the back of my AMS units. So I just went through and did one batch to test it out. These look good. I'll peel them off. I'll start another batch. Down here on the P1P, is it the end? Is it the light at the end of the tunnel, lads? Did we make it? I think we made it. Don't tread on me. Looking good. Maybe the slightest little show through there. I'm really happy to close this saga out with this this Don't Tread on Me placard. Appreciate all the suggestions and all the comments I've been getting on how to like do this, because the model, again, is not really for 3D printing. I bought the model off a laser engraving website, and I think I learned a lot from this process. This is maybe the 7th or 8th attempt at it, just trying to fine tune it, but this is the one. I can already tell this is our winner. This is our champion right here. So in the future, if I get any more of those models that have a billion faces, I'm gonna go through and simplify the dog S out of it. It's crazy I can't curse on here, but hey, I want to keep the YouTube ad money rolling in. I'm going to simplify it down as much as I possibly can before I start painting it, and then maybe on some suspect areas, chop them off the model, print them separately just to make sure that I can get a good result versus doing it this way. So again, immensely grateful for all of the feedback and suggestions I've been getting about that. Probably need to clean this up as well. I got I was running really low down to my last 2 spools, and so I freaked out. Bought 4 spools here off of Amazon, but I do have 20 more kilos coming direct from Elegoo. Just like a quick shill, Elegoo's Black Friday thing is going on right now. It'll be the first link in the description below. If you were gonna buy something from Elegoo anyway, use my link. I get a small commission out of it, helps support the channel. You get the same product that you were gonna buy anyway. but I get a little something out of it. And hopefully in the future, if they see that I'm sending traffic, they'll send me free stuff and I can review it or give it away here on the channel. So you need to clear out some space because I got 12 kilos of bamboo coming because I was getting a little low on my desert tan for the character models. Plus I wanted to try their glow in the dark filament because I think I'm gonna revisit the D20 cubes, but I'm gonna try to run them on the A1 or the P1P, just as big as I can possibly make them, or I can possibly do it on the Soval, but I wanted to try it in some of that glow in the dark filament, some of their silks, just to see if I can get a good result out of it. And then maybe in the future I could do something just a little bit different than everybody else is doing. I was thinking maybe print, I know it sounds crazy, sit down, are you sitting down? Solid D20 cube, like a solid big D20 cube the size of my head. It'd weigh a lot, and it would use a lot of filament, but it might be pretty cool if you really like D20 cubes and you want to like roll it around. I mean, does it get any sturdier than 100%? Actually, 100% might be more brittle than just some infill because it can't absorb the impact. It's all, you know, taking it all. But anyway, let's go into the office and see what else is going on. I still have not added the little boy atomic device to the Etsy. I really got to do that this afternoon. Over here, I really would like to work on the Starlink thing and the car. It's just like finding time to tinker with all this stuff, especially if I'm trying to work in learning Fusion 360 and designing stuff, because it's like, oh man, that takes up a ton of time learning a program, shooting videos, and like trying to print new and exciting things. I threw away a bunch of that stuff. Let's go through the throwaway montage. Just kidding. And then finally, we got our big Glock glued up nice. There's some gapping here, and don't worry about this super glue, this haze from where the super glue dries, because I'm painting over this. I got it flashed off. I'm actually gonna paint the slide in a matte black, and then this lower is gonna go like a slate gray, and that'll pair well with the desert tan, khaki, and the green olive sort of hue over here. So I'll have all three colors. Probably do another 1911, but I really wanted to get this Glock up just as a buffer piece, and then I really wanted to work on the Python. So that's what's going on with the 3D update for today. The video I put out this morning is the best performing YouTube video I've ever put out in my entire career. This channel, the other one, gives me like 600 views per hour. I understand that won't last because this is a vlog-based channel. There's really not a lot of legs for these videos for someone to watch in a few months, but maybe someone watches this in the future and is like, oh, I really like this guy, and they go back and watch the entire catalog. Hope so anyway. This is the point in the video where I kick it over to my future self tomorrow morning to see how it all turned out. And it is the next morning, checking in to see what happened through the course of the night. Everything's basically quiet right now because I had a lot of jobs finish up, obviously, and it's an eventful night. A lot of news going on that I have to follow. So over here on Cobra 4, we're doing the main section of the Colt Python, the revolver model, kind of coming off the heels of the interest of the Glock. So running this low and slow, trying to get that out. Got a little prototype-ish sort of test print here. I'm gonna really be looking for you guys' feedback on my method for this. We'll take a look at that here soon. On the Soval, doing more of these AMS beads, containment housings or whatnot, because I want to swap out the beads down here in my AMS units for the P1P. Let's flip the camera around. No one wants to see my face anyway. So, did it come out? Is it gonna win? The Don't Tread on Me placard looks pretty good. Now, there's a couple areas I do note. Right here by the tail, and right here just on the inside of the tail. That's where the sphere painting tool, I really couldn't get at it too much without kind of going through and like painting the whole area and then trimming it up. Maybe here on the bottom of the R, but overall looks pretty crispy clean. Now, someone was saying I need to paint the sides of the letters, and yeah, that's how I did it in the beginning. But if you've been following the saga, you know that when I did the fill on it, it would get into these layers underneath and kind of show through. So overall, what I did is I took the sphere tool and I just kind of ran it across the edge to where it would paint somewhat deep around the edges, but not all the way. And I think it gave a pretty good result. Now, obviously, it's not painted all the way to the to like where the seam or where the demarcation is between the lettering and the base. But overall, I'm gonna call this one cabbage. This one's ready to go. Gonna get that up on the Etsy today. Here on the A1, we had a character model, not talking about it. Up here on Cobra 1, doing a bunch of these lids for the rolling trays to fill that big order. Anything up there? No, and no. So let's head in and see what's going on here. All right, so decent progress today. Gonna get this listed on the Etsy, so that's a win. Also, wanted to take a look again at the Starlink sort of housing sort of thing. So I'll probably go out in the building, try to fit my Starlink router in here, and then start to tool and tinker with it. And then finally, this prototype thing that I was mentioning, you know, and this is, I don't know Fusion 360. I don't know any CAD program other than Tinkercad, which isn't really a CAD program. It's like if you were trying to teach the concepts of 3D design to a toddler, you would put them on Tinkercad, and that works very well for my stupid brain. But I really want to get outside of it. I really want to get into a more proper program so I can do some more precise modeling. It's just it takes so much time to do it, and that's not me being lazy, but it's like, you know, if I spend hours a day doing that, it's less time that I can do, you know, other 3D printing, research, content creation, because I got another YouTube channel and I actually do stuff around my house. So, you know, it's kind of like a big time sink to learn that, but, you know, it's a good investment for this 3D print thing. So what I was gonna do is kind of try to pick that up over time. Some people, you know, posting good resources in the comments, appreciate all that. But what I wanted to do for the RC car, because if you're unfamiliar or new to the channel, I run RC cars every single day, but I do them for my dog. It's not like a hobby of mine. And my dogs destroy these really fast. When you run these every day, they wear out pretty quick. You know, most people that run these as a hobby don't run them every day. It's like, you know, on a weekend or something, and then they take it home and then they take it all apart and clean it out and stuff like that. Me, I run it hard and put it away wet, literally. And so my cars give out and I usually just buy a new one. So if a car lasts, you know, a few months, then I just buy a new one, because it's, again, for my dogs. It's like for, you know, it's a benefit. It's not a pleasure thing, so that's how I justify buying new cars. And I've collected so many of them that when some break down, I can usually take donor parts off of older cars. That's why I stick within relatively the same family of car. I buy all Armas. I prefer Sentins or Typhons or Creightons. And a lot of those parts are interchangeable. But what I wanted to do, and this is a brushed model. I usually run brushless because they're a little faster. My dogs are really fast. What I wanted to do was take this one, because this is the newest model, that's the cleanest, and try to design something as a lure courser. So it's meant for dogs. So as you can see here, I took off the guards on the front and the back. These are for like if you hit something, it doesn't destroy the car. And really, if you know how to drive the car, you shouldn't be hitting things anyway. But, you know, things happen. The car's gonna high side and roll over. But what I wanted to do was design some kind of shell that affixes into the frame, that just sort of, I'm gonna do this, kind of clamshells open, so you can get in, change the battery out, and then close it, and then there's some kind of like little snap here. It won't work like this, but, you know, some kind of snap that holds it in place. That way, if it rolls or anything, it won't just fly open. That's like kind of a tall order. I can't see it in my brain, so I'm like, you know what, let's break it down into simpler parts. So what I started with is, because when you take these guards off, these pins are left exposed, and these pins are what hold the lower section of the suspension in. If these slide out, then this comes off and you're screwed. So you need some kind of plate here to hold it in place. So again, this is just the initial stages. A very simple plate here that would affix into these screw holes to kind of lock that in. I'll do one for the front as well. So I just need to fine tune that in. And secondly, I was like, okay, let's start from a primitive and work our way around it, instead of trying to meticulously measure every single distance or scan it or anything like that and then try to work from there. Let's start with a primitive and then say like, okay, delete this, add this, so on and so forth, and just kind of gradually make our way there. Let me know how you guys do it. If you do anything like this where you're trying to make a part for a complex structure, do you take precision measurements all the way around and meticulously design it and then print it and then make your adjustments, or do you start from something simple and then work from there? Because again, my brain's I think at least my self-evaluation is that my brain just kind of can't parse this, so I need to start with something simple. So I took the measurement here. I've never touched this thing to the car before, so this is live. We're doing it live. This is the width of the car's body, and this is the distance from the front of these two supports where the standoff pegs would go to about the halfway mark. So that was my thinking. So I'll just mark it there with like a little wax pen, delete parts of this, or I might even just literally cut through this to kind of fit it in shape. That way I can get half of it on there and then say like, okay, adjust here, here, and here. And then I can start playing with like some fasteners or something that would hold this body in place. It also gives me an idea about how thick I really want this to be. When I arrive at a final solution, I shouldn't say final solution in YouTube because when I arrive at my my ending concept, so to speak, I think this is a good candidate to print in something that's like really, really high impact, at least for me personally. If I do end up selling this thing, maybe I'll sell it in PET G or, you know, something like that, or just really, really thick or solid PLA just to keep the price down. But for me personally, or maybe I'll offer it as an option. For me personally, I think if I do this, this is something I probably want to print in a carbon reinforced sort of thing, because I don't want this, I want the car to snap in half before I want the shell to snap in half. So that's the game plan with that. I'd love to know what you guys, how you do it or how you would do it in the comments below, respective of the fact that I know, let's just say I know nothing about Fusion 360 or any other CAD program, because there's Tinkercad and then there's everything else. There's no in between, it seems. You know, some people saying plasticity or shaped or shaper or things like that. It's really a big jump from Tinkercad because it, again, like I was saying, when I design in Tinkercad, I'm often taking things like this was just a block and then I put a hole, negative in there, combine them, and then that removes this section. As opposed to other programs, you draw this very thin and then you extrude it up, and then, you know, you kind of make your little adjustments there. And it's like, to get this in Tinkercad is like 3 steps. To get it in Fusion 360 is, you know, like 9 steps. Certainly more precise. It's the way to do it. You have more options after the fact, but Tinkercad's just so fast, and I really like fast stuff. So that's the 3D update for today. I appreciate all the new subscribers and all the views. Yesterday's video did quite well. So let me know what you're doing, what you're thinking, and what you like in the comments below. Be sure to like the video and subscribe for more content like this. I'm the Technicals. See you next time.